whatever it is, wherever you are. My name's Katie O. This is Moon Mama Musings. Welcome back to my living room for another energy peephole for today, the 10th of November 2021, where we are in a waxing crescent moon that will transit to the sign of Aquarius at 10:03 a.m. Bangkok time. Now, this is really interesting because when I first started feeling, as you guys know, when I take my notes and everything, I first kind of feel into the energy intuitively before I actually get into any of the aspects. Don't even look at any of the astrology, nothing at all. I literally just start off my little notes with a little bit of just feeling into the vibe. And the vibe that I got was air rushing through an open door. But it's like in a cartoon where, it's like the cartoon character will go to the door to go outside and they open the door and it's like this blizzard is coming through and they like rush to close the door and they stand with like their back against the door like, oh my god, it's fucking horrible out there. Like, we better, I don't know if we should go out. I don't know if it's safe. I don't know if we should go out there. So I think maybe we're feeling like finally the winds of change are truly coming forward for us. And it almost startles us. We're not sure if we should keep them at bay or if we should let them in or if it's safe, or we're just a little bit, it's like we're deer in the headlights a little bit with regards to this new coming change and this new coming energy. And we're just, Now tomorrow is the 11/11 portal. We talk a lot about portals and things like that, but there's certain numerologies that are more important than others. So the 8/8 portal is super important. 8 is the number of abundance and flow of universal energy. The 10/10 portal was fairly important as well, and that was 10 is the number of completion, of closing out of cycles. Super important. And then 11 is a number of alignment, of ascension, of personal growth, of expansion, of getting your ducks in a row. And I believe that this is super important because we do have eclipse season upon us. And we've been doing so much work that, it's basically we've been feeling like there's like a ticking time bomb just waiting to blow our existence to smithereens and make room for something new. So tomorrow in the 11/11 portal, the energy is going to be strongest at 11:11 a.m. I believe that this is very intuitive of me to say, but I believe it's a super personal thing. So wherever it is, wherever you are, the 11/11 of 11/11 just, it culminates in a personal energy. We are a tiny piece of the greater being of things. And these synchronous moments where numerology comes into play and we can find these bits of alignment in a natural way, it doesn't really matter what part of the world you are or if it's the same as everybody else, because you're going through your personal growth and your ascension cannot be done by anyone else or by the collectives. It has to be done by you. So I do feel that wherever you are tomorrow, 11/11 at 11/11, and it could be in the evening as well. It's whenever you have the time to focus in on it. But there is the capacity for us to basically open a door and evaluate what comes through and see what's going on. Some of you are going to be tempted to shut it and put your back to it and go, oh my god, it's horrible out there. I better stay safe inside. And some of you guys are going to brave the storm. And that's going to be up to you, because you are the master of your own universe and you get to choose. And your growth and your alignment is going to basically dictate that. So today we might be feeling a little bit nervous about this. We feel that this energy is coming. We might be feeling a little bit cold feet about it. But hey, it's you can't control the elements, I'm hearing. Even if you were that cartoon character opening the door and seeing that it's so horrible outside and going, I don't know. Make a decision, right? Because you're not going to change the weather. It's going to be what it is. Are you ready to go out there or not? All right, we've got quite a busy day in astrology today on the 10th of November. We have 6 aspects I'd like to talk to you about, most of them with the moon. So I do feel like it is an emotional day. It is a day where your subconscious is going to be trying to leak forward towards your conscious mind. And in the sign of Aquarius, with the moon in the sign of Aquarius, it's going to be doing so in different ways. Aquarius is always the innovator to me. It's the alien of the zodiac. It's the one that does things differently and stands on its soapbox and speaks its mind with the interest of evolving, with taking the old and making it new and more effective for the current circumstances. It's like probably one of the most adaptable signs in the zodiac. in some sense, even though it is a fixed sign. If you know anyone with strong Aquarius placements, yes, they can definitely be cold and aloof. Yes, they can be hyper intellectual, but they can also be these little pixies that flit about and do whatever it is that they have to do and just like go with the flow and roll with the punches, and it's really delightful. So I do believe this moon in Aquarius is super important, for us to be bringing into to play these like new innovative ways, recycling old energies and putting them towards better use for moving forward. Okay, first and foremost, the moon is conjunct Pluto, which is it's not a direct conjunction because Pluto is still in the sign of Capricorn, but it's kind of verging. And but it's so it's not the full invasion of the body snatchers vibes I'm feeling intuitively, but it's definitely like we talked about Pluto when he came out of retrograde, he kind of retreated back to his tent. Happy to give you advice as you need to with regards to transformation, death, rebirth, renewing things. But it doesn't really necessarily come out to the forefront. So that's why I do intuitively feel that this conjunction is a conjunction, but not a full conjunction. Like it's not a full blown. It's not a 100%. I mean, basically, the moon as it transits into Aquarius just passes quickly, right at the position of Pluto. Um, so, I mean, astrologically speaking, it is a real conjunction. But like I said, this is intuitive stuff. I do a lot of my work through intuition. So this is what I'm feeling about it. Is that Pluto is still sitting in the tent, for example, but maybe it's come to the door. And it is taking a first-hand glance at what's going on and seeing like maybe if someone's approaching the tent or how the battle is going down below. But it's still not leaving the tent. It's still not acting forwardly. It's just maybe a little bit more in the forefront of our mind. So the wave of transformation has befell us, and we feel differently than we ever have before because of it. Some of you guys are feeling great anticipation, but a lot of you are feeling great anxiety as well. And it's totally normal because in the face of change, we have the unknown, and the unknown is not always comfortable. But remember, with this moon in Aquarius, it is encouraging us to see how there are possibilities for basically making things more efficient, making things more effective, and taking into consideration what we've done in the past in order to make a better plan about how we move forward. The moon is also squaring Mars. So we're being challenged to take decisive actions, with the interest in to transform the things that we do, how we do things, the approach that we take on things. We know that the action is important, and some of you are feeling a certain type of way. A square is obviously a challenging aspect. It doesn't have to be bad challenge, right? But it just is something that moves and shakes and causes change, causes movement. It is a dynamic aspect. And we do know that we're taking actions. Some of them are smaller actions. We are taking decisive actions, in order to transform. And I believe that there's two sides of that coin, because obviously the transformation is a great feeling, clearing out old energies and like going towards new directions is wonderful. But like I said before, we are feeling sometimes a little bit conflicted about it. We sometimes don't feel so confident with those actions because we haven't yet seen what gifts they'll befall us. The moon is also squaring Mercury. So these actions need to be communicated with those pertinent to the things that we're doing, right? Keeping people in the loop is super important right now. When you are making these little actions, you've got to keep the people that are nearest and dearest to you sort of up to speed about what's going on with you. But this one right here, this particular one is, yes, we're doing a good job of sort of communicating to those who are relevant. But with this square, I'm hearing that Mercury is challenging you to really use your discernment right now, because not everybody is entitled to the information about what's going on with you. Not everybody is worthy of having a place beside you as you make these big changes. Not everybody deserves your time and attention, and you've got a lot going on right now. So I'm hearing that they want you to focus on your transformation. And when you focus on that transformation, you will be able to see, okay, it's absolutely crucial for me to keep this, and this person very, very close in contact with this transformation, so they see how I'm going and they know where I'm at. But you're not going to do that with everybody, because then you're just going to spend all your day explaining to 25,000 different people about what's going on with you, and that's not productive. That takes away the energy that you need to actually make the transformations. So uh, be very careful about who you're keeping informed about the things that you're doing right now, and just be sure to have a very flexible mindset about who is pertinent when. Sometimes somebody is going to be it's going to be important for them to be in the loop about a portion of your journey, but not all of it, right? Like for example, it's like if you're going through a big transformative time, like say you're moving house, okay, and your boss needs to know when your moving day is, right? But they don't need to know that you and your spouse are fighting because you don't know if you want to bring the old couch or not. It's just a really silly example. But there are, like, obviously, there's parts of that transformation that you need to keep some of your outer circles in the loop about for logistic purposes, for just general respect. But they don't need to know the ins and outs and every single detail about it. Whereas, for example, if you are moving and you and your spouse are fighting about this couch, you know what? They're probably someone that you need to speak to about, you know what, honey, I'm not upset about this couch. I really don't give a fuck about the couch. It's just I'm nervous about uprooting our family. I'm nervous about moving into a new place. I'm nervous about the adaptation period, and it's making me react in certain ways. Right? Pluto has been encouraging us to take different approaches and to really explore our emotional processes about things. Um, and some, like I said, there are people that are important to keep in the loop about some things, and people that are maybe not, it's not that necessary. And you're going to be feeling better about being able to communicate these things to the necessary people, and you're not going to feel bad about, you know, not necessarily divulging all your secrets to the whole neighborhood, for example. Okay, the moon is also conjunct Saturn. So this is karmic contracts are being brought to the table right now. They're being slapped down on the table, and we've been doing lots of preparation with regards to little tiny actions that we're taking and communicating what's necessary, right? But now it's almost like all of these little preparations are actually being, it's like the contract is putting in front of you now, and you've done all of this stuff, but you're seeing it for the first time in words, and you just need to take a little moment to sort of evaluate how it is. So maybe all of these little changes that you've been undergoing are now sort of coming all full circle, and you're realizing how interconnected they are, and just the extent of which this change has affected your day to day, your little structures of things, and just trying to get a little bit more of I'm hearing an organized stance on what has actually happened, putting them all in a. It's like making the debriefing after you have a meeting. Like putting together the minutes of a meeting. As it's like you guys talked about a lot of things, but when you go over the recording and transcribe it into a comprehensive list of the things that you guys have done, you realize maybe how much you've actually achieved, or maybe you're realizing how much you have to do. But either way, Saturn is definitely taking over our subconscious right now, and I believe that Saturn is definitely bringing a feeling of urgency with regards to structure and just like debriefing, getting it all down on paper, getting it all organized in a comprehensive way, and just getting your P's and Q's about you. Okay, we also have Mercury in conjunct with Mars. So this is one of these like say what you need to say vibes, right? Like if you've had things that you've been meaning to tell somebody or something you've been meaning to express, now would be a really great time to do so. But that's going to be for some of you. For most of you, I'm hearing very, very strongly that actions are speaking louder than words with this aspect. Really, actions are speaking louder than words. And this could mean that maybe you are doing little things to express gratitude or love or willingness to collaborate with people, but without actually verbalizing them. And I'm hearing some of you have to be careful with that, because it's better for you to actually say what you need to say, right? Ask that person, you know what, I want to be in a relationship with you, or I want to put an offer on that house, or I want to um, evolve this project in a different way for our business, whatever it may be. Just kind of hinting at it is not going to be enough in this vibe. But very also on the other side of things is some people might be misconstruing your actions. Okay, so like I said, it's going to be important for you to actually communicate them. If you're in super alignment with someone, you really do know each other very intrinsically, and you can sort of like have that little brain with different people, you might not be needing to speak so much, and it's like the little things that you do really do convey your true emotion to somebody or something or a situation. But I do hear that people that are not quite on the same page as you are probably going to misunderstand your actions lately. You're going through great big transformations, and that threatens other people's. You're always, when you have successes, you're always going to have people that come to you and are too pleased about your success, because it makes them feel belittled in some sense, even though you have no responsibility on their success just because you have success, it's completely two different things. It's comparing apples to orangutans. Just because you're successful doesn't reflect anything on somebody else's success. But some people, when they feel a little bit insecure about the things that they've been up to and they see someone else succeeding, it makes them feel like they're not adequate or they're not doing enough, or maybe they deserve the gifts that you're getting or whatever. So I'm hearing that there is going to be a strong possibility of people seeing the transformations that you're undergoing and completely taking them the wrong way. Yeah, so like I said, communication is going to be important. But also, with regards to what we talked about with Mercury before, is that there are some people that it doesn't fucking matter. Right? Like, it really doesn't matter. Like if the water cooler explodes at work because you're taking a risk on expanding a project that maybe is going to ruffle some people's feathers, you know what? Let them get their jollies out and talk about you. It doesn't really affect the goals that you have to do. And if they're seeing you, if they're labeling you unjustly because of their own insecurities, well, so be it. Okay, but just be aware that your transformations are going to make people want to break it all down and figure you out, and they might not have all the information. So I'm hearing just be very, very sure to keep your goals in mind and have a strong sense of empathy, a very strong sense of empathy. Yeah. Be able to put yourself in other people's shoes, especially in the face of people acting like jerks because they're threatened by your success. You don't know what they're going through, right? You never know what someone's going through, and maybe their knee-jerk judgments of you are literally just because they're having a health issue, or their mother just died, or their spouse is having a hard time and it's affecting their home life. It doesn't matter. You don't know what they're up to, and sometimes people's reactions to you are far more indicative of their own personal state than of anything that you're doing at all. And trust me, if you're triggering people, send them some love, because they probably are feeling insecure for a reason and they might just need a helping hand. Anyway, that's not your responsibility, though. Remember, just use your discernment about who deserves your energy. Last but not least, we have the moon trining the North Node, which is big developments and changes, has us expanding our ideas of what the future holds. And I heard destiny rewritten. I think for a lot of you, you had a very, 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 very clear idea of what you wanted your future to look like. And I believe that the changes that have happened recently make you feel completely differently about your original plans. And I'm here, a lot of you are redirecting, you're changing your mind, you're going in a new direction, just generally going in a new direction. Excuse me, hiccups. Throat chakra is super important right now, so it's no wonder that I'm getting the hiccups right now. Okay, I'm going to get you guys a card of the day, from the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle. Guys, there's no need to be nervous. You've got this, okay? You've got this. Seriously. You've got this. I know it's nerve-wracking. I know it's unknown. I know it's got a lot of pressure. But seriously, you've got this. You've got this. You've been doing so much beautiful work, and there's absolutely nothing that you can't handle. Okay, let's get a card of the day. Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle deck. What have we got for today, the 10th of November? Please, team. Okay, there are a couple, but I'm going to look at them all. Yeah, look at this. Okay, this is very, very much. So we have 3, and I believe they are very much importantly all together. Realization, communication, cosmic flower. I am hearing that you have had major downloads. You've had major shifts in your mentality, which made you have huge realizations, as I was just saying, about the way that your future looks. And you're in this phase of communication. And that's not necessarily verbally speaking, but can also be about self-processing, about communicating with your inner self, your higher self, your guides, whatever. But you are going through this throat chakra and heart chakra joining to bring this heart space into your throat space, to bring them together so that you can exchange information and energy in the most authentic way to yourself. And this is what brings this cosmic flower. Now, this is the important card for all of this. But these ones are telling you the story of how you got here. As you've had changes of heart, you've had things shifting, and therefore you had to change mindset, which makes you more readily available to exchange energy with other people, situations, your guides, source, whatever you want to see it as. But 18, the cosmic flower. This breaks to a number 9, and 9 for me is always a beautiful, beautiful energy of personal growth, but in a very source-centered, in a very collective-centered, in a I'm a small part of a whole kind of a way. The frequency of cosmic flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core from which we pour our magnificence out into the world. So, realizations, willingness to communicate, cosmic flower. We are blooming in a gorgeous way that allows us to ground ourselves and allows us to share our heart space and our throat space together. Look how we had these, see, we've got the blue and the green in the center here, and then the whole card here is the blue and the green, fueled by the purple, which third eye. And then here, the background of this card is like, this is like one of these very like oceany greens, yeah? It's a bluey green. This is the two colors combined for me. So we are capable of bringing our heart space and our heart chakra and our throat chakra into unison for these tasks that we're doing in a grounded space in order to better ourselves, in order to find the place that we call home, in order to align with our true goals, in order to become the best person that we could be. Yeah. Yeah. All right. A little bit from the bag of tricks and okay, interesting. They're saying they want 3s because of the 9. All right, okay, that's fine with me. Blame, repetition, and red flag. Okay, so you're going through a cycle right now where you see a red flag, you act accordingly, and then when it doesn't go your way, you blame somebody else for it, and then you see more red flags and it doesn't go your way and you blame somebody else for it and you see a red flag, it doesn't go your way. This is a constantly repeating cycle where your insecurities get the better of you, I'm hearing. So when you see these red flags, you're being called to use your discernment, because that's the trigger point of your cycle, is you see a red flag and it makes you want to sabotage things, it makes you want to run away from things. You get you see something that you don't necessarily understand and you're like, fuck this. But of course, if you never actually enter the race, you can't win. And that brings you to this whole point of like, why aren't I getting the gifts that I desire? Why isn't this situation working out for me? It's got to be because of that person did this, or, the timing isn't right, or blah, blah, blah. You're because you're not grounded, you see these red flags as complete trigger points. And then when it's almost like you come to the realization that maybe it's like you try and figure out why this went wrong, and you can't really necessarily find any reason that it would have gone wrong, but you're still not willing to look at your own responsibility in it, your own accountability in the fact that the red flag, you reacting to the red flag in the first place, was the full trigger point. So maybe some of you guys have some apologies to make because you've blamed people in the past for your pitfalls, when you're kind of making a realization now that it was completely your own fault. And I say that with all the love, by the way. Like, I don't think that I completely think that it's healthy to be able to admit when you've made a mistake. I do it all the time. And I encourage you to do it too. It's fucking liberating. But I'm not, no shade, right? I'm not trying to judge you in any way, shape, or form. I had that cycle. I've just recently broken it, and I'm still working on keeping it broken. All right. There's maintenance involved. Okay. Lose, regret, and aversion. All right. So you've been trying to move towards greater things for yourself, but you still have this strong sense of regret about these cycles and the way that they repeat that keeps you in that sense of aversion where you see the red flag and you want to run away from it. But you need to lose this mentality. First of all, stop connecting too much to your past, because that regret isn't just holding you back. It is what it is. Okay. Whatever happened, happened. You acted in the best way that you could with the tools that you had, and you did what you had to do. All right. And you can't change it now anyway, because it's the past. And even what you perceive as the past is a skewed version of it, because your own ego usually blows it up and makes the scenario seem a lot worse than it actually is. I'm hearing a lot of you are pining over a situation. Honestly, the people involved that you think hate you because of this situation didn't even fucking notice. You've aggrandized it in your mind. And it's only keeping you in a losing stance, and it's keeping you from, they're saying, let go of that. Let go of the past. The regret is not worth it, because it's holding you in that place where you just sabotage things. And here we go. Sabotage, persistence, inner child. Okay. The only reason this sabotage thing, this reaction to the red flags, this creating red flags for yourself, the wearing of the rose-colored glasses, the persistence of this 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 cycle, is because you have inner child work to do that you are neglecting. You need to check in with little you, and you need to see why it is that they're throwing these tantrums, because that's what it is. Is that aversion, that sense of self-sabotage, is your inner child throwing a tantrum because it went through some sort of a trauma. And a trauma doesn't have to be abuse or anything like big and grandiose. It could just very well be that, you know, maybe you were like, if you were like me, I was just a super excited I was a really energetic child, and a lot of people constantly told me to shut up and be quiet. And finally I thought that it was something wrong with me. It wasn't that, you know, people were just challenged by something that was misunderstood. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But there's inner child stuff, and there was something that was squashed down for you in your childhood that you've still not fully looked at. And look, I don't blame you. It's hard. It's scary. But I promise you it's liberating. And it's worth it. So take your time. Like I said, the door, you can open the door, see what's outside. And if you choose to shut the door and barricade it, look, that's your choice. It's part of your healing. It's what you need to do. But if you do choose to be brave, I guarantee you will have success. I guarantee you will have success. It won't be easy, but you will. Because if you even have the courage to open that door and set foot outside, it's going to be very soon. I can't turn back now. I just have to persist. And you will. And you will. All right. Okay, guys, I will see you later on live, and I will be back tomorrow. Until then, I'm so sorry for anything you're going through if I've made you feel a certain way. Thank you Thank you for being a beautiful being and lending your energy to this circuit that I hold so dear. Thank you to your guides, my guides, the Ascended Masters, angels, whatever other energy was involved in helping us find these clear, concise messages in a timeless fashion. Whenever it is that we find these messages, whether it's today, tomorrow, or in the near or distant future, there is something for us if we find them. I love you to the moon and stars and to infinity and beyond and back, and I accept this, and I hope you do too. But if not, no stress. It's all good. Good luck. Catch you later.